is up, you guys? Rasati out here in Singapore, and it is, well, of course it is. It's the Night Owl Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm so glad you're back because I've been getting this question over and over again. How do I know how to support my spouse? How do I know what they want? Because it's not until they ask a bunch of questions that I kind of put my foot in my mouth and end up getting told off. So how do I do that? How do I just skip to the part where I can know exactly what she wants or know exactly what he wants and be there for them? Because I just want to be there. I want to skip all the fighting and the bickering and all the nonsense. I just want to get at that part where I can be there and they love me and I'm a hero. How do I do that? Well, I've been thinking about that a lot. And there is a very simple sentence that you can ask. It's like a multiple choice question, right? The multiple choice for support, where you can never go wrong, actually. A lot of times you don't know what your spouse needs. You know that they're having a tough time. They don't know if they're, how they're going to get through whatever crisis they happen to be in today. And you just want to know the right answer. And sometimes asking that question can mean, oh my God, don't you know me, my dad? You don't care. You never pay attention. So yeah, I get it. You want to avoid all the bickering. You want to get to the part where you know what to do next. Because honestly, you love them. You want to support them. You want to be there for them. You want them to know that you got their back. So this multiple choice question is fairly simple, I think. Babe, I know you're going through something. Do you need me to listen? Do you need some advice? Or do you want me to get involved? And a lot of times you don't ask that right off the bat. You let them vent first. Halfway through, you're going to want to know, they're going to want to know that you're actually paying attention. So you need to, actively listen, which means sometimes you're going to have to repeat back what they said to you. You're going to have to ask questions to really show that you're interested, because I need you to be interested, okay? Don't fake it. Please be interested. But at the end of this conversation, you need to ask them, so do you feel any better? Or do you need some advice? Or would you rather me get involved? How can I help support you? Because at least then when you ask, they can say no to the right things and you don't feel the need to go rescue them right away and then by accident end up making things worse. It happens, right? I've had so many times where my brother would be in trouble. Somebody was bullying him. He'd come tell me and I'd be like, I start bristling the minute they say somebody was bullying him. I want to go beat the hell out of everybody. And so I would go and confront the bully. And years later, he tells me, I traumatized him because I didn't let him fight his battles for him. Well, I didn't know. I was not that much older than him. I was only 4 years older than him. And I didn't like that people picked on him anyway because he was on the small side. He was a little premature and he didn't gain weight very well. And he was little. And I felt the need to protect him because I'm his big sister. That's what I've always done. And so at the time, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I never thought to ask him. As much as he wanted the bully to go away and I wanted the same, he also didn't want the bully to feel like, oh, well, when your sister's not around, I guess you're fair game kind of situation too, which I wasn't always around. We were in different grades. So if I had taken the time to ask him, he would at least feel a little more encouraged and he would feel a little bit more like he had a little bit of power and he had a choice in the matter. And I wouldn't have done what I thought was right and then made things worse for him when I wasn't around. And I didn't think about that. I didn't know. That's a really childish example, right? But it, I think, illustrates the point fairly clearly. Let's think about an adult situation. Oh, there were some times where my brother would have an altercation with somebody. And it was a really good friend of his, and he loved this person to death, but sometimes they just didn't get along. And I wasn't a fan of the person. So I thought, okay, well, let me do what I do best and see if I can sit down and talk to the person. And it wasn't that I wanted to do an intervention of any sort. I wanted the other person's side of the story, to be honest. I wanted to know why they were bickering so much. And I thought, if I asked that person what's going on from their point of view, without saying anything about what I knew on my brother's point of view, maybe I get a better information. I did that. And I asked the questions and I thought I was getting somewhere and I thought I was understanding from their point of view. But eventually they said something that really upset me. At which point I couldn't hold my tongue and I forgot that, I'm supposed to be the older one with some kind of wisdom to me. And the big sister came out instead. And once again, I put my foot in my mouth and I told that person off. But when I told them off, I kind of gave away the fact that I knew plenty about the situation before I came and spoke to them. And when I told that person off, I threatened the relationship that my brother had so delicately put together. It wasn't up to me to put my foot in it. It wasn't up to me to go stand in that other person's face and talk to them about anything. I didn't ask permission for any of this. And I almost ruined a really great friendship. So because I learned the hard way, I'm telling you, I know what it's like to get into a bickering match about the fact that, why don't you know me well enough to know what I need? But the most important thing is that you actually are there actively listening. And when you listen and let them tell you all of the details, you need to ask that question. Do you feel better after you vented? And if they say yeah, then you already know what you need to do. Nothing. They're good. But if they say no, the next question should be, well, do you want my advice or would you rather me get involved? And then at least they can think about, okay, well, what would that look like? If you gave me advice, I could say yes or no and do my own thing. But if you got involved, would I be okay with what happens next? And then it becomes my decision whether you support me that way or not. Then I can tell you exactly what I want and you cut to the chase. You get to the point. You find out what it is that they really need from you. But most times, they need a listening ear. They need you to go, oh my gosh, in all the right places. They need you to ask the questions and repeat some of the details back to them and be like, no way, are you serious? Sometimes they need to know that it was ridiculous just the way they saw it. They need validation that, yeah, this is a problem. This is not good. I don't know how you managed it. But ask. Ask those 2 small questions. It's like 3-part options, right? One part is the listening part. Let them vent first. And once they're done venting, ask them if they feel better. And if they don't, well, do you want my advice or do you want me to get involved? And at least they know that, you know what, you actively listened through all of this and now you're willing to get involved. Wow, you love me. And they get to say yes or no. And then you get to game plan about what to do next. It's not a complicated process. It's not some rocket science answer. There's no algorithm or algebra involved. It's simply 3 options. Do you need to vent? Do you need my advice? Do you want me to get involved? Now, I've done this with my daughter in school. She comes home sometimes, she's really, really upset, and I'm asking her, well, what do you want me to do? Do I need to go down and talk to them? What should I do? How can I help? But it's always after I listen first. Most times when I listen and actively ask questions, I can figure out where she may have made a mistake and she can adjust for the future. I can tell her maybe what the teacher meant rather than what she took it as. I can give her another perspective. But at the end of the conversation, I always ask, well, you think you can handle it or do you want me to do something else? You want me to get involved? Do you want some advice? So, the next time you find yourself in a pickle, and maybe it's your spouse, or maybe it's your sibling, maybe it's your parent, maybe it's a friend, and they just really need you to listen to something because they're really going through something big. Listen first. Actively listen. Show you care. And at the end, ask them, well, do you feel better? You don't feel better? Man, all right, well, you want my advice? Or do you want me to get involved? And you know what? I'm hoping they see the fact that you care. And I'm hoping you get the answer that directs you to what you need to do next. Case closed. I hope that helps you guys. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I want to hear from you. But in the meantime, let's simplify our lives, right? No more bickering. Ask the questions you need answers to. This is a safe one, and it's got 3 parts to it. All right? I'll catch you soon. Bye.